Hi, everybody. Welcome to our quick look at Automizy. So, Automizy.com is a email marketing and email automation software that says it can improve your open rate by 34%. So, does it really do that? I think today that's what we're trying to find out. But before we start looking at the software, let's consider a few things, right? So, the thing is, whether you run a business, an online store, or a blog, you want to build your email list. I think that's a given, right? After all, they say the money's in the email list. You need to email your list more, but at the same time, you also need to kind of like segment your list and be targeted because you want to send the right emails to the right segment in your email list and not just send the same generic emails to everyone. You want to be able to welcome a newsletter subscriber that's interested in a product more so than another product. So you just really need to be able to differentiate and segment. And the key to personalization starts by segmentation and automation, right? So what you need is really email automation. And today's tool has a pretty strong set of features at a very affordable price point. So the email marketing tool we're talking about, of course, is Optimizy. So let's take a look at the Optimizy's website. And it's here. Right. So if you take a look at Optimizy's website, right, and take a look at what they promise on their homepage, using an email automation software, they say they have all the essential marketing features, improve open rate with AI. So yeah, yes, but every other tool says they have AI. So let's not really go there. They say they have easy automation builder, effective high performing emails, as well as the ability to do things like test subject lines before hitting the send and A/B testing automated emails, as well as send emails based on website behavior. So that's all very interesting, but does it live up to what it claims? Let's take a look at what we have for today. Yep. So before we get started looking through the tool, right, let's just say that for the best deal, let's check out the link in the video description. So for this video, what we'll do is we'll update it regularly to show the best offer that's available for this software tool at any one point in time. So if you want the best deal, just check out the link in the description. So let's talk about Automizy.com and jump in. Right. So let's explore what the Automizy platform looks like from the inside. So what you're seeing here is what I've signed in is a trial account. So when you enter into the Automizy platform, what you see is a dashboard that's pretty simple, but I think also pretty straightforward at the same time. So you have a place to add contacts, build automation, send campaigns, and create sign-up forms. So it's all over here. Let's take a look at the items one by one, right? So let's quickly jump to settings here because there are some things that I would like to show everyone. So over in settings, right, you can see that basically they have the options to actually add tags, manage your tags over here, as well as add contact fields. So this is really where you would add your custom fields. So let's take a look at what's available here. So you can see the user interface is pretty simple and straightforward. Everything's pretty well laid out, so you can really kind of like understand what's going on at any one point in time. So I've already set up the account with a few demo tags already. So if you just want to create a new tag, it's pretty straightforward. Just type, this is a tag, right? And you can create a new tag, right? It's pretty straightforward, right? Nothing else to add on. In terms of the settings, you also can go to contact fields. So contact fields are basically places where you can add custom fields. When you add a new field, you can add short text, number, date, hidden, and everything and so forth. The user interface is pretty straightforward. They go by a let's say favorite band, right? Let's say we're trying to collect the information about a user's favorite band, right? And the that's added to the custom fields that is available for every user. So this part is still pretty straightforward. The context section is also, again, nothing too different from what you expect from most email software too. So you can add email contacts, you can create new lists. So this a new list, include groundbreaking here. You can either import CSV or you can add context manually, right? So, again, this is pretty straightforward for if you're familiar with email marketing tools. So, when it comes to campaigns, let's take a look at a campaign builder. A campaign builder is pretty straightforward. It's just a broadcast email tool. So, if you wanted to build a broadcast email from scratch, when you open it up, you have the option of choosing their drag and drop email, right? Or you can send a simple email which is text based, or you can upload your email via HTML, right? You can preset some of your own templates, or you can use some of their pre-made templates, right? Or if you wanted to, you could actually reuse some of the previous emails that you've sent out. So this is pretty straightforward over here. Most of the time I send emails via like simple emails, which is like text-based emails. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. So I've actually previously already sent some demo emails, so I'm just to make use of that. Right. So setting up the email campaigns is pretty straightforward also. Demo campaign. Yeah. And then you could go doing A/B testing, but we're not going to do that here. So how their A/B testing works basically is you can supply two headlines, and what happens is you can select how many of your email lists you will email first, then splitting between A and B, and then if there is a email that actually wins out in terms of the open rate, they will actually send that particular subject line, use that particular subject line to send for the rest of the email list. So you can actually decide things like the number of hours, and you also set menu conditions. So this is really up to you. So the interface is pretty straightforward. Over here, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's laid out pretty straightforward in a pretty simple manner. So you go on to design your email. Okay, let's say we don't want to do A/B testing. Okay, then let's move on. Let's disable the A/B testing. Let's move on. Yeah, this is a simple email, just text-based. Pretty straightforward. And then it goes on to, you can add the unsubscribe link via personalization. It's pretty intuitive. It will show you how it looks on desktop and mobile and tablet. You can do a test email, and if everything is okay, you can just go ahead and choose the list that you want to send to, right? And then click send. But we're not going to do that right now, right? I'm just going to click save. Let's move on to the next part of the thing. So I think let me, before I touch on automations, right? Let me just go through like forms and reports and integrations. Forms is pretty straightforward. I think their form builder is not exactly like the most incredible form builder in the world, but it's sufficient. If you wish to embed it, if you wish to edit it, right? You can connect it to different lists. Go on to the next one. You can customize the design, right? Input fields, then fields. You can choose the thank you page and move on. You can do script, HTML, or URL. It's pretty straightforward. So this is the email, right? When it's done up. So it's a pretty straightforward email form builder. So now we're going to jump back and take a look at reports. Reports is also pretty simple. It's nothing too outrageously complex or amazing, but it's sufficient. You can see the broad statistics, like how many open, how many deliver. That's pretty straightforward. Integrations is interesting. So they have the typical integrations like Zapier. They also have Hyperrise, which is quite interesting in a way, because Hyperrise, if you guys are aware, is a email software that allows you to personalize images based on information that you can actually submit via CSV file. So you could kind of like customize an image to say hi, first name, and then use it to generate multiple images that fit the first name, for example. I think I won't go too much into what Hyperrise does, but I think these are just fairly interesting integrations. But it's not the most like comprehensive integrations out there. I do know that besides, if you're WordPress user right now, right, working on integrating Fluent Forms, which is quite popular amongst many of you. So I think that's an interesting thing. You can also integrate this with Shopify as well as WooCommerce. So that's something that's useful for everyone. And then Google Sheets also, right? But let's jump into talk about their automations, right? Which is perhaps the more interesting part of the platform. So the automations is fairly I would say it's fairly straightforward. But it's still pretty powerful, I would say. You can really start off by building your own automations pretty simply. So let's just call this a simple automation. Right. So the automation starts from triggers, right? So you can actually kind of like see what kind of triggers you want to set. So like say for example, if a user fills in a free webinar form, right? So in this case, you choose an existing form and say okay. So the trigger is created, right? Next, you could have a email. Let's say you use a email, or let's just maybe create a simple email right now, right? That's text based, right? So you can create. So this is quite nice, which is like while you are creating the email automation, right? You can create a text-based email on the fly also, so that this is it doesn't break your flow. Okay, so then you go on to I would just say hi there, thanks for signing. And then you can add the unsubscribe link if you wanted to. Then move on to the next step. And then you go back to the automation, and your email's ready, created already. So this way it doesn't kind of like break the flow. So you can set powerful conditions, like for example, has opened an email, right? If you for opening your email. So if you yes, the he will what will happen is you can, for example, add the tag to a contact. Let's say we just add tag 1, right? And if it's no, it doesn't do this. Let's do let's do tag. Let's do this instead, right? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna go back here, and I am going to remove tag from contact. Remove tag. right? And then I am going to add tag to contact, right? And then, so if the user has opened the email, what will happen is, let's wait for 1 day. Then we will send them a email. So I'm just going to use a previously sent email. And let's just grab that. Okay, let's create that. And then if the user doesn't open the email, let's also wait for 1 day, and then let's I don't know, let's do this. What can we do? Modify user data. Let's just say, what did we create for the custom view earlier? So favor. Let's do this then. Favorite number is 1. Okay. So, yeah, so let's just call it that. You can set the automation to run once or runs multiple times. I like to maybe just set it as multiple times for no other reason, right? You can adjust the thing. You can publish. Yep. So, and then that means the automation is published, right? Let me just close off the automation, right? And then what I'll do is I will go back to one of the earlier automations that I had set up, a demo automation. So this automation is basically when you add a user to a webinar list, they get entered into the list and sent an email. They go through a set chain of events. So that's something that's has already been triggered earlier before this video. Yeah, so that's kind of like how the email automation works. Maybe not the best, maybe not the best presentation from myself, but I think overall, it feels like the visual builder is pretty powerful and also pretty easy to use at the same time. So I think that's a good thing. So I'm just going to finish off by maybe talking about some of the Propmap that the tool has. So we can see that let's not take a look at the things that are completed. So although there are stuff like, for example, cart abandonment emails are being completed, have already been completed already. That's interesting. But what I would say is the Fluent Form integration is important, right? It's in the backlog. They have a landing page builder in the in progress. So I think this would be probably something that's akin to maybe like a Mission Point, which is pretty simple landing page builder. They're also looking at templates for landing pages, webhooks, Fluent Form integration, and DKIM setup. Yeah, so these are all quite important. These are things that are for the longer run, but I wouldn't necessarily count this because these are just ideas at the moment. You can take a look at their own backlog to see who to kind of like see what they have been doing so far. So you can see there's 4 days ago they just launched a new integration with Hyperrise. So this is a pretty interesting integration. Yeah, and they have a okay help desk and knowledge base. So yeah, so in terms of the pricing, right, their regular pricing at 1,000 contacts is around $29 a month. So it comes with all these particular features. In fact, I think they only have one particular one type of plan, right? I think the most closest analogy I can say is they compare quite similarly to ConvertKit. I think they have the same style of very simple to use uh, email marketing software with powerful automations, but it doesn't kind of like feel overwhelming at any point in time. It's something that I think most most email marketers who are maybe content creators can easily pick up. So I think in that respect, I would say it's pretty similar to ConvertKit. Um, yeah, so let's maybe just finish up and take a look at uh, the verdict for this particular software. So I think all in all, Automizy is a pretty powerful email automation platform that's user friendly. Um, so I think the closest alternative I can see or I can think of at the moment is like ConvertKit, in the sense that it has a pretty decent email marketing software. The automations are pretty powerful. You can do things like follow up emails. You can do yes no. If this then that kind of automations. You can add tags, remove tags, and everything. So not necessarily like super complex, but I think it's it's user friendly enough for most content creators who want to actually get started with using email marketing software. So you could integrate this with maybe like a small WooCommerce shop, or you could add this to your blog if you want to sell info products or sell courses, for example. So all in all, I think it's a pretty decent product. If you are interested to take a look at it, just go on to the link in the description and check out what's the best offer for this email software at the moment. So yeah, that's the end of the quick look at this tool.